Welcome back to Commentary Box channel. My name's Arj and today we're going to have a look at the England potential starting lineups. Now, in my opinion, this is one of England's best squads in a very long time, maybe about 12 to 15 years, when we had the likes of Beckham and Lampard and Scholes and the list goes on. And I think this England squad has much more in a number of different departments as well. You know, take it from the fullbacks to the centre mids, and then we have an abundance of talent in the attacking mids role and Harry Kane up top. So recently England have been using a simple 4-3-3 formation, which you can see on the screen here. The thing is, with England, we are now so adaptable. However, Southgate decides to use this 5-back formation in certain games. Now let's start off with this 4 at the back formation. So I think England could set up in this 4-3-3 with Declan Rice in the middle and Jude Bellingham and Mason Mount in the side. Now, Jude Bellingham could be replaced by the likes of Calvin Phillips or Jordan Henderson, but I think Jude Bellingham provides a bit of adaptability. He can play deeper, he can go forward well, and I think that's what makes him a perfect midfielder for this English squad. Now, in my opinion, if we start off at the back, we have Pickford, who I think will get the nod as the first choice keeper. He may be rotated with Dean Henderson, who knows. I think Pickford will be there to start off. And I think Kyle Walker has showed this season that he has got the defensive capabilities. So Kyle Walker there. And John Stones and Maguire, they're probably the two best English centre-backs, along with Luke Shaw, who has been in the best form of his career. And although Chilwell hasn't done much wrong this season, Luke Shaw's just been quite exceptional for Man United this year, and so I think he'll get the spot. Then moving on to the midfield, and I think Declan Rice is a shoo-in for the England squad, England lineup. Every team, we will require Declan Rice. I think him and Harry Kane are probably the only two players that are guaranteed starters. You could say Jack Grealish might deserve that spot, but then we have many options on the wings in the attacking mids position. So yeah, I think there's no other player in the squad like Declan Rice, and Harry Kane is irreplaceable for me. In this 4-3-3 formation, I can see the likes of Sancho and Grealish playing out wide. I think Sancho and Grealish both offer a lot going forward. They can carry the ball well, and there's a lot of pace added to that attack. Now, of course, we have the likes of Sterling and Rashford on the bench still out wide, who are very quick and are very good players themselves. But I think Sancho and Grealish have had slightly better seasons than both, and definitely better seasons than Raheem Sterling, who's been a bit subpar this year, especially after his big season last year. But that just shows that we have the quality and have the quality in depth as well. Now, this lineup here also shows the alternatives that we could play in those exact same positions. Obviously, we have Dean Henderson in goal, and we could also start with Kieran Trippier on the right and Chilwell on the left. And also Henderson, and I think Mason Mount will also keep his position, seeing as he's been in such fine form this season. But as I mentioned, we could even have Raheem Sterling and Marcus Rashford out wide, and of course Harry Kane keeps his spot through the middle. Another alternative that England have used is a 4-2-3-1 formation where we have two holding mids. It's using similar personnel, but in a different formation, essentially, where Henderson plays more of a pivot in the sense where he plays box to box, and Declan Rice solidifies that midfield, and it frees up the attacking midfielder, which in my opinion will be either Mason Mount or Phil Foden. I think with this formation here, we could see an incredible amount of flair with Foden, Mount and Grealish all playing at the same time, and Henderson playing that sort of big runner role. I think he can do that role. It's just whether he's fit enough to do it at the moment. We might see it later on in the tournament, but definitely not early on in the tournament. This formation may be used in some of the earlier knockout rounds. I don't see it being used later. But yeah, this formation and this lineup provides a lot of flair to the England setup and a lot of goal contributions. There's players like Mount and Phil Foden who love getting into goal scoring opportunities. So that will definitely assist Harry Kane. As we know, he's been incredible with assisting players this season. At Tottenham, obviously being the top assister in the Premier League. So there's no reason why he can't do that for the likes of Phil Foden and Mason Mount this year, who have been scoring a number of goals occasionally. Next up, we're moving to a 5-back formation, and we've seen Gareth Southgate use this in the last World Cup. He may use it again. It's a formation that allows England to be a bit more solid. You have the 3 centre-backs and allow those wingers to go forward. So with this formation here, this lineup, I think Reece James has showed a lot of form in that right centre-back, but it could be Reece James or Kyle Walker. So, they're both capable of playing that position. I think Reece James is a bit more solid defensively as a centre-back. And we could even see Kyle Walker play as the right wing-back, but I think Kieran Trippier offers more going forward, and we may need that on the right as a right wing back. And then, of course, Stones and Maguire to fill out the other 2 centre-back spots, and Luke Shaw on the left, again, very good defensively, but also good going forward, and him and Trippier will offer that balance to the England side. And then in midfield, it'd be a flat 2 of Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. It could be Mount, it could be Henderson or Calvin Phillips, depending on the opponent. I think this duo of Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham offers us a lot in terms of balance. I know Bellingham is very comfortable playing deeper, but he's also great going forward. He picks up some great positions and can pick out a pass as well. So that midfield is very, very dynamic. And then I think with this formation, it would be quite important to utilise a player like Marcus Rashford, who's quick, who's direct, who runs the channels, runs down the wing. And if England are to play on the counter-attack, the likes of Harry Kane and Bellingham can feed Sancho and Rashford and utilise the counter-attack effectively. Now, another 5 at the back formation is this narrow one, which England have actually been playing. And they actually played this against Iceland in the UEFA Nations League. So we have the 3 at the back with 1 defensive mid, 2 attacking mids, very narrow, and then the 2 strikers with, I believe it was Grealish against Iceland, playing just off of Harry Kane, which allows him that free role, and we all know what Grealish can do. He's a very influential player when he gets on the ball. He's a bit like Phil Foden. They do a lot. They're always direct. They're always trying to achieve trying to create chances, and that's all. But there is a twist to this one. So as you can see, my back 3, Kyle Walker can slot in as the 3rd right centre back. But if we are playing a very narrow 5 at the back, then Bukayo Saka might be that little hidden gem. Now, a lot of people may say Saka hasn't really got a chance of starting for England, but he's done it before for Arsenal, and he's a very good left wing back, in my opinion. He's definitely better than Luke Shaw and Ben Chilwell going forward. And if we are playing a bit more narrow, we will need that extra width coming from the wing backs. And so I think Trippier and Saka are probably England's 2 best wing backs for their positions, respectively. This is a bit of a wild card, but I do like the look of this lineup. It may be a bit offensive, maybe a bit attacking, but it may be useful for some of the games. Now, moving on, this is my optimal lineup. This is the lineup that I'd like to see England use throughout the tournament and consistently. I'd like Dean Henderson to start. I think he's a much safer keeper than Jordan Pickford. He maybe hasn't played enough games this season, but I still think he can do the job. Then Trippier on the right, who can again be replaced by the likes of Walker or Reece James. I wouldn't mind. I just think with the likes of Sancho and Foden, Mount, Grealish, we're going to pick up a lot of free kicks. And I think Kieran Trippier is the best set-piece taker in the squad currently. Unfortunately, we don't have James Ward-Prowse, who's probably one of the best in the world. But we can utilise Kieran Trippier, and that's why he's in the squad for me. He's in the lineup for me, even. And then Luke Shaw at left-back, I think he has been the most informed left-back for England, or he's the most informed English left-back there is at the moment, and I think he does deserve his run of games in the England squad. Then I'd like to have Declan Rice sitting. He does that role incredibly well, and allow Mason Mount and Phil Foden to sort of roam and have a free role, allow them to create more, and then you have the likes of Sancho, Grealish, who will stay out wide, cut in. They'll be a bit direct, which is what England need. And then Harry Kane to finish it all off. I think that's England's most effective lineup offensively. Now, if we were to talk about maybe playing on the counter-attack, I'd be happy to see a Calvin Phillips or a Jordan Henderson slot in for either of Mason Mount or Phil Foden. Henderson does that role well. I just don't back his fitness at the moment. He hasn't played for a very long time, and so I wouldn't mind seeing Calvin Phillips. It would have been a perfect role for James Ward-Prowse, in my opinion, who loves to play box-to-box and is very effective with set pieces, but unfortunately we don't have him, and Henderson or Calvin Phillips will do that role perfectly well for me. Then moving on to my predicted lineup for the first game against Croatia on Sunday would be Dean Henderson in goal. I think it could be him or Pickford. I don't think Gareth Southgate has a preference. It will be interesting to see if he does, but I think either can equally play in goal for England and do a good enough job. Then I have Kyle Walker at right back. He's shown a lot this season, and I think he is good enough to play at right back and not just a right centre back. I think England need to show a bit more faith in him. Southgate does, especially. He's a lot better defensively than people make out that he is. And then Stones will also start. His form has been incredible this season for Man City. And because of Maguire's fitness issues, Tyrone Mings will start. He'll start at left centre-back, being a left-footed player. I don't know if he's good enough, but he'll do for the group stages, in my opinion. Will hopefully not concede too many chances, and so he won't have too much to do. And then at left-back, Luke Shaw, I've mentioned him multiple times. He's been in great form this year. Then I think, seeing as Croatia will be England's toughest group game, we will go for a double centre-mid partnership with Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips. Southgate has preferred Calvin Phillips in the last few friendlies and last few England games, so yeah, I think he deserves a spot there. He's been excellent for Leeds this season. Then next up we have the attacking mid trio of Jadon Sancho, Mason Mount and Jack Grealish, and this is just chances upon chances for me because all three of them are excellent players in excellent form. Mount's got bundles of confidence. He likes getting his shots away, and I think those three will work excellently well behind Harry Kane, who will continue to put away his chances when he gets them. And yeah, I think there's goals in that team. There's also defensive stability with Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips. And then the likes of Kyle Walker and Luke Shaw can contribute going forward. But yeah, that's my lineup for the first game. Let me know what you think of them. England have such a dynamic squad that we can afford to play many different styles, and I think Southgate has tried these out over the last year or two in the Nations League, in friendlies, and in the World Cup qualifiers. So the England squad should be used to these formations, hopefully, and being the calibre of players they are, they should be able to play in any system. But yeah, if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe and like the video. And then in the comments, let me know what your preferred England lineup is. We have a great squad this year. However, if you haven't seen my predictions video, check it out, because I'm not too sure on how well England can do. But let's hope. We'll hope. Come on, England.